Hey Tankers, Bonsai Duck here. Today I'm going to give you, in my humble opinion, the review on the Progetto 54, the Tier 8 Italian Heavy. Now, in all transparency, I skipped right over Tier 7. Didn't even want to play it. Watched some streamers, watched Guido 1212 and some other people play it, and decided that I was not going to enjoy that tank. It was not going to work well in my playstyle. It was going to frustrate me. I like a tank that's got some mobility to it. I like a tank that, I can play in more of a medium role, as opposed to an in-your-face, punchy-face, slug-it-out type of heavy. I mean, I have those heavies, but this is not that, and I knew that coming into this. So I went right to the Tier 8, loaded it up with free experience, and put a crew in it, and said, okay, let's grind it. And it took us some 36 games, I think, to grind all the way to the Tier 9. I absolutely enjoyed playing it. It was a fun tank to play, and I think it's a culmination of different things about this tank that made it fun for me. Now, if you're a true heavy player, a Russian heavy player, the 252 or the Defender or the IS-3 or even the 50 TP, and you like the punchy face type of heavy tank play, you're probably not going to like this tank. If you like to use the hills with its minus 9 degrees of depression and its auto-loading capabilities, and use its armor to its efficiency, then I think you're going to enjoy it quite a bit. Again, you have to play it more as a medium, or at least a second to third line heavy. Get it in there, drop your clip, and then go hide. The reload is just terrible. I mean, it's absolutely just painful. I don't know why they came up with this reload mechanism. But it's painful. If we just take some quick looks at the tank, I mean, it's got some different flair in it. It's got a little bit of a American flair with the front end, kind of the bubble nose, rounded nose front end, and the rounded kind of hood ornament or front upper plate, along with a little bit of French accent, or not French, English. British tank accent, with the gun depression and the sloping armor for the turret. But not a whole lot of German or Russian influence on it that I can tell. Really low slung commander's hatch, which is that is a soft point. Doesn't handle arty too well, direct hits. But again, it's not going to be a T-44-100 or a VK-101P. It's somewhere in the middle. It's not even really a Carnivon or an Action X. It's probably closer to the Action X than in, say, the Carnivon. But we're going to take a look at my stats in it, and I'll be honest with you, they're not they're not stellar by any stretch of the imagination. I played 36 games in it, and I got a 42% win rate with an average XP of 764. I did get a first class out of it. Battle survived. I didn't survive a lot of battles, and honestly, a lot of that was because of getting caught out with the reload. And most of it was later in the game, later in the battle, and I just didn't manage my reload correctly, so I ended up dying. Hits, 73% hit rate. I mean, this thing, it was pretty accurate, to be honest with you. Damage ratio 1.16, destruction ratio 1.1, and an armor efficiency of 0.54. So I feel good about it. I feel good about the way I played it. The low win rate in it, not so much that I enjoy, but some of it was just the games that I was in. I platooned with some other players, and the games were just terrible. And so that adds to it, right? Damage caused to enemy vehicles was 1,400. Damage received was 1,200. So obviously I'm giving just a little bit more than I'm getting, but I'm still getting quite a bit. I had a max experience of 2100 and a max damage of 4500. So, for 36 games, I think it would go up fairly well. I think I could easily make this into an upper 50% tank. But again, that's playing it more as a medium that fits my play style. And I think that's with any tank. You play it to your play style. I think you have to be honest with yourself and say, are you a heavy player? And if you're not, then don't beat your head against the wall. But that's my stats quickly. Out of 36 games, a small sample size. But I wanted to get this review out to you because I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to, I've already moved on to the tier 9, and I didn't want to forget about this one because I think it could be a little, at least, for the average Joe, it might be a fun tank to play. I could be totally wrong. We'll do comparisons in the garage with the other tier 8 heavies that I have, but I'm in that comparison, I'm going to leave everything exactly as I have it in the garage. With my crew, I had to go back, and for some reason the comparison doesn't always bring all the crew skills over, so I had to go back and configure. Do I have brother in arms in that tank? Yes, I do, and so on and so forth. But you'll get to see where it fits in my stable. All right, now your stable may be different. I think comparing them straight across vanilla across the board doesn't really give you an idea of what it could be in your garage, because we all have different crews, we all have different equipment loadouts, stuff like that. And I think I tend to try and stay generally in the pack when it comes to equipment loadout. So, but we'll compare it that, and then we'll take a look at Tanks GG. We'll probably start off with Tanks GG and then come back and do the comparison in the garage, and then we'll move into videos. So, anyway, let's go to Tanks GG. All right, so here we are at Tanks GG, and as you can see, we've brought it up, and these are just the base stats, obviously, as Tanks GG puts it out. We can see that it's got a 1,540 DPM, 320 alpha, 220 penetration. Yeah. You'll see in a lot of my games that I am firing gold. I did resort to firing gold in this thing, and the biggest thing that I can say is that 220 millimeters of penetration with the AP, which does fine in tier 7 with tier 7s and even a lot of tier 8s. But when I started seeing tier 9s and tier 10s, I went right to the gold, and that gave me a whole 22 more millimeters of penetration. But it helped in some circumstances. So, it's not a big boomstick. I mean, it is a 105 millimeter gun. So it is what it is, right? Reload. So that's the pain, right? So you got, what is this, a 15-second first shell reload, then 13, and then 12. Obviously with my crew and running food and stuff, you can really bring that down. Really, food is the only thing that I found, and that and the vents directive are the only two things that are going to make that any better. To be honest with you, you can't put an auto gun rammer on it, stuff like that. So those are going to help. Rate of fire is 4.81 rounds a minute. The clip size is 3 rounds, and I do believe it has. Oh, what is that? I want to say. Well, I don't. It doesn't say, but I think it's a 2-second interclip reload. Excuse me. I'm sorry, 3.5 interclip reload. So a 3-second, I think I have it down to. Aim time 2.40. Then this is vanilla, strictly out of the box. So you'll see when I bring it up in my game client that these stats are different. Dispersion is 0.36, 2-1 when moving, 2-1 when traversing, 2-1, 12 when the turret is traversing, 3.8 after firing. Like I said, shell velocity 1147. That's not bad. I think it does have 105 millimeter HE, which turns your shell velocity back down to 827. You fire the gold, the APCR, at 4,800 a piece. You do go up to 1,300, and you can obviously pump up your damage. If we look at the armor, this tank is, I mean, we can see that it's got a big smiley face right there, right? Some that rounded nose does give you some I guess defense. The turret is not bad, all right. But where this thing makes its money where it's the moneymaker, and I'll see if I can get it here. Come on. Oh, this is old man hand. Old man hands. Okay, we'll just go right there. Is in its gun depression, right? So if you're looking at if this thing is looking at you over a hill, you've all of a sudden just raised that upper plate, and if you can keep that lower plate hidden, now this is kind of stupid right here, or it sucks. You know, you're going to get hit right here, but I mean that upper part is just phenomenal. I mean, this thing just works really well in a hill creeping environment. Side scraping, not too bad of a side scraper. If we can, you can see, obviously you got this green flat plate right here, which is not helpful. But if you can try to hide that, that's a fairly small target. And if you're a ways away, that's going to make it even more difficult for them to hit, right? But it's not known for its side scraping. This thing plays well in a creep up, take your shots, fall back. That's just what I found, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So we'll go back and look at my comparison of the other tanks that I have in my stable, and like I said, in the in-game comparison, everything is going to be as it is in my client. I didn't change any of the crews to 100% or anything like that. It's my current crews, my current equipment loadout, stuff like that. So just kind of how it fits into my garage. So we'll go into that. All right, so like I said, I'm comparing it here to the other Tier 8 heavies that I have in my garage. And like I said, some of these, for some reason, like I said, the in-game comparison doesn't always bring over the exact crew or the skills that I have on my crew. So I had to go in and configure some of these to represent that. And I bounce my crews between a lot of different tanks. So I have my premium crew is doing other tanks and stuff like that. But this is how it fits into my stable, right? So the average DPM, average damage of a 320, we can see that it's in line with a lot of other tanks. Now you have your other autoloaders here, the Basante, the Suma, the IS-3A. Then I have a couple several classic tanks in here. Being the Tiger Tooth, the Low, and the Carnivon, and then of course I have some premiums in here, and then of course the behemoth of my garage, which is the VK101P, right? So I mean that thing is just got a huge alpha in it. So you can see that in that way we do kind of suffer, but we get more damage or average damage than the Carnivon. You get more average damage than the AX, you're just a little bit below the 75, and of course when you start bringing in the 252 and the Renegade, you're down there. So it's in the middle of the road, which again is another reason why I tend to look at it and say, this is more of a medium style tank. But again, that's me. Time for auto reloading. You can see that I have it down to a 14 second, a 12.3, and then an 11. So I think that works out well for me. Whereas the Basante is a lot slower. Okay. The reload is a 37.64 full clip. All right. That's 3.5 seconds inside the inner clip. 39 in my Basante, 32 for the Suma, and 41 for a full clip on the IS-3, right? IS-3A. And again, the 3.5, 3 rounds, 3, 2.25 for the Suma. As far as gun depression, as you can see, it's a 9. Obviously the Basante is a 10. Suma's a 10. And, you got the Low's got a -10 along with the Carnivon and the Action X. So, I mean, it's right in the middle. Not really good gun depression, I think. Survivability, 1400. Not bad. Again, more in the middle. As far as speed and weight and engine power, 850 engine power, okay. Specific power is 17.56. Now, I'm not some mathematician's going to figure all that out, but I can tell you it will get up to 45, but downhill is going to do it a lot quicker. It's not as quick. The Basante is faster, but it takes longer to get up to speed, to be honest with you. The Renegade, I think, is a fairly quick, sprightly tank. In comparison, of course, the E75 TS is a fairly fast, moving heavy too. Let's see here. Let's drop it down. View range at 471 with my current crew in it, 471. So that's pretty good. I can then focus on the equipment that maybe I don't need the view range. I can use something else in my equipment that will, help me get anything to help the gun handling. Right now, my current loadout, I am running optics, but as my crew improves and my view range improves with that, I'll change out that optics and put in something else to help with the, maybe a vert stab or something to that effect. But it has really good view range. And camo, it's a heavy tank. It's not going to have a great camo, although it is on the upper side of all the camo for the heavy tanks. So, but that's just where it fits into my in my garage, right? So I'm going to quickly change these out, throw up some mediums, just so you can kind of get an idea of where I look at it in my mediums. Okay, so just quickly looking at it, since I tend to play this tank along with the Basantes more medium tanks, heavy mediums, I thought I would just show you a quick comparison of it with some of my favorite mediums and the mediums I play a lot in my current stable. And as we can see, excuse me, the Alpha, again, the HP 320, I mean, it's right behind the CS, and right behind the Basante. Penetration 220, so it's right in line with that. The reload and everything else is about the same. If we compare it to the lore, it's got a longer reload with a longer inner clip, and of course -1 shell. We bring in the Progetto 46, and I mean that thing is it's going to out reload this thing all day long. Armor wise, it runs right down that line, just right down that line on the turret with the mediums. As far as the hull, it's it's not any. I mean, it's right in line with the mediums. Okay, so in all honesty, again, me looking at this saying, well, this thing is built like a medium, so it's got to, it's got to be the weight. I don't know, I'm without, the weight is obviously 48 tons. It's not that far off from a lot of the mediums. So again, it seems to fit right into the medium role. And I think, maybe even taking and throwing a turbo on this thing might give it the speed. Well, let's see if I were to do that, if I were to throw the turbo on here, and we'll just do that real quick and see if that doesn't change the speed a little bit. And we'll go in there, and that brings up our speed to, where's it at? Top speed 49. So I mean, now it becomes even more competitive with the medium. So maybe a turbo is a little bit better on this thing. I mean, I do have the view range already of I dropped down to 428, but compared to my other mediums, that's really not that far off. It may, like I said, it fits better in my play style as a heavy medium. So now we're going to go back and we're going to take a look at some games, and then we'll wrap this puppy up. All right, so here we find ourselves in the first game. We are on Berlin in a pure tier 8 battle. So that whenever you start a new tank, you always get the same tier battles. You ever notice that? At least for like 5 or 7 battles, then all of a sudden, bam, you're into tier 8. Then it starts going tier 9, tier 10. At least with the tier 8s. But anyway, we spawned over here on the the east. And I'm just going to show you this one. I think shows really how well this gun with the depression and the turret and everything really works. So here we go. So spawned on the east, like I said, and I'm going to come over here and work in the buildings. I like to bring a nice turreted, a good turreted tank, whether it's a medium or a heavy over here. I really enjoy, as opposed to going to the field, which just never works out well for me. As you can see, it moved along fairly well. Reload's not too bad. Getting those shells in there. I did load the gold. This was one of my earlier games in this tank, and I wasn't really sure. The Basante left me feeling kind of bad with its penetration, so I didn't really have a lot of faith in this tank's penetration. Kind of get shoved out of the way by the Action X, and I'm like, okay, fine, you want that, you can have it. I'm going to come over here and see if I can get some shots. And just kind of work this area and see if I can get some shots on these guys. Just trying to work this and see if I can get the gun depression to work for me. He turns his turret a little bit, which allows me to punch him. And I'm going to sit here and play peekaboo with him for a little bit, which I should have just decided that wasn't going to happen. Because he's not going to pop up there and give me another shot into the side of his turret for him. And you know, the usual heavy versus heavy here, and you know, and then I see the Carnarvon Action X has come over here. Decided he wanted to try and take my spot over here. Our 703 is sitting in the back along with our TS5. They're sitting back behind us, so you know, it's up to me in this Carnarvon Action X to kind of hold this line. Just trying to get that gun depression. And it's something I've been working on, and this tank has kind of helped, and is that only showing what I need to show to get my gun on target. Alright, so our TS5 is moved up and died fairly quickly, and that allows me to come up here, and I bounced that 703. That was nice. I was able to get a shot into him. Another shot, another bounce of the 703, so that works out well. Bouncing his APCR. Waiting for that third shuttle load so that I have the clip if I need it. Missed that one. He pops up. I let that reload. I'm going to come over here and see if I can kind of hide my lower plate a little bit. Missed that one. Do bounce the Progetto. Now here comes the Action X again. I bounce another 703 round, and I'm like going, okay, I'm doing pretty good here if I can bounce those two. I bounced that tank 3 times. That guy's probably a little frustrated with me right now. Alright, so we got the WZ over there. We got a Progetto over here. See if I can get into him. No. As you can see, the bloom tightens up fairly quickly. Do clip the top of that turret, that little viewport on the Progetto 54. So far, these guys have not rushed us. I think had that T-34 come across over here, and these guys decided to be a lot more aggressive, they would have pushed right through us. Alpine Tiger and our other 54s over there on the other side of the river. And maybe that's what's keeping them honest, I'm not sure. But they're not really being too dangerous to them. It's just, this battle just turned out to be that they weren't being very aggressive. Finally gets a piece of me with some HE. Chuck's talking. I'm going to come back over here, and I see our 703 is pushing in, and that's going to kind of open it up a little bit. Not going to get any shots in there. I see that we got that other Progetto over here. He's going to show me his rear end, and I'm going to be able to get a critical damage on him. There's our critical on the 703, who's shooting in some more HE at me. And that, you know, that's just like with any tank. HE is going to cause you some pain. But I was in the long reload. I had fired that third round, and so now I'm waiting for the at least get 2 in there, possibly 3. And there goes our 703. Bounce that Progetto 54. And that was just a bad gunnery right there. Now it's just me and the Carnarvon X over here. And he's going to push in. It looks like. Nope, he's going to try and do some side scraping. If I can get some shots on good. Just auto-aimed him and got a shot on him. Right now I'm just playing single shot. Not letting the clip fully reload. And there's that turret, that gun mantlet right there. I mean, the front of that turret is fairly strong. And there goes the Action X. Now I'm kind of concerned here because it's, you know, these guys could easily push in and just overwhelm me, but I see that my team is actually coming in from the south and putting pressure on these guys. So that's making it, giving me the ability to say, okay, now I can kind of be a little more aggressive here. Takes me a few minutes, a few seconds to kind of work that out. Probably should have taken that shot, but didn't. And hoping that he's, yep, there he is. Gives me a nice piece of his rear. Maybe I'll take a shot into that. See if I can get into that. and I can't get into him underneath those tracks. I can highlight him, but I can't hit him. That seems kind of weird. Let's see. Nope, not going to do it that time. There he goes again. I'm not going to get it. So we'll speed up here a little bit. End up having to go all the way around because the Action X is in the road and plugging me up. Just trying to get the aim on the shots, and that's not working, so I'm going to charge in here and see if I can do some damage. Scorpion takes a chunk of him. I ricochet, and that's a victory there. So, not bad. 145,340 in credits, 4,596 in experience. I did get, what, 2,580 in damage, 1 kill, and a base XP of 1,021. Didn't make it, made some credits, made some decent experience, but that like I said, that was one of my first games in it. So now we'll move into game 2. All right, so for this game, we're on Minsk, and we're in a Tier 9, Tier 8 battle, so lower tier heavy here. And again, I'm not playing this as the punchy face heavy, right? And I'm platooned with Mad Dog, who's in his Basante, and Noble Wolf, who's in his CS-53. We spawned over in that would be the north, and we've come over here to the west, and see how it goes. And it got fairly good speed. I mean, I beat the Basante and the Progetto 66 over here. TBP obviously was able to get here over here before I could. So I realized that I need to wait for my guys to catch up a little bit. Just kind of creeping up here, see if I can light something up. I do proxy spot a Type 61. STA-2 over there, and Mad Dog kind of gets up here, and he's see if he can get any shots on those guys over there. He's gonna poke out here. He kind of poking. I see that person come out. I'm yelling, "Hey, to your left, to your left!" And he wanted to get a shot off on that Type 61. I see the STA-2, but luckily the Tortoise kind of heads over there. I thought for sure I was in some trouble, but I saw the Tortoise heading over there, and I figured, okay, those guys they're going to be busy with him. And we're just kind of, again, I'm playing really cautious here. Just trying to play it like a medium. Finally, I think Mad Dog gets a little frustrated. Decides he's going to push in. He goes for it, and I just said, okay. He says, I'm going to go over there and face those guys. And he says, just keep that 61 off of me. And I'm like, okay, I'll do my best. And there he is. He pops me, and I pop him back. I bounced his shot. And I immediately come over here because I know he's going to push in. He's trying to get shots on Mad Dog. And he pops me, and he's got a fairly quick reload on that tank. I'll give you that. We turned the favor on him. Now we got the Indian Panzer over here, and I think they've totally forgotten about me. And I get a tracking, and then able to hit the Indian and finish him off. That leaves the Type, and I really should have waited. And I didn't even end up firing, but I was going into that with one shell, and that wasn't going to work out well. It's about this time the Noble's yelling at us to come back and help him. So their heavies are pushing through ours, and it's time to go meet the big Tier 9 tanks. So Mad Dog and I decided we're going to head back. Noble is already giving up the ghost, and can't not spot anything down there. I was hoping maybe we'd get some cross shots on him, but that wasn't going to work. And so I decided to hang with Mad Dog as we push across. Go ahead and speed it up here. And you can see the Conqueror and the T-54 U1 are moving in. They're cleaning us up. This is not going to work well, and we're already talking about it. This is not going to be probably a very good game. And that whole night, those games were this way. It was just terrible. But we decided we were going to give it the last stand at the OK Corral. So trying to stay as far out of their view range as possible. Come up here to the far north and head back towards the base. See if we can use our gun depression a little bit here. I have to tie each other up. Use the bush if I can. And right now, just waiting for somebody to light up. The Type 61, if he can keep that Conqueror honest and keep him from shooting at us across the water here, it'll all work out pretty good. It could work out pretty good. 7-9 game, you know, but we're facing some fairly heavy beef here. All right, and Tortoise is charging in on the base along with the TVP BTU, which just didn't make any sense to me. There goes the Type 61 under the bridge. There goes the TVP BTU. Looks like the Type 61 took a hit. And Mad Dog's like, well, let's see if we can, let's just poke around here and see. And kind of coming up here and see if we can keep them honest as they try to get on the base. Type 61 falls back. The Tortoise is moving towards the T-34. That's not going to work out well for him. And there he is. There's the Basante. He pulls up, and I hit him, and of course you get ammo racked, and then Mad Dog's able to finish him off. That was one thing I did notice. This thing does get ammo racked fairly easy, so if you can do anything to avoid that, that's good. You know, keep safe stowage as much as possible on this. And Mad Dog wants to push up again. And I'm more worried that Tortoise. That Tortoise is just going to be a huge pain. And now Artie's in on us. I'm not sure if he's just blind shotted and hit me. I think he was aiming at Mad Dog. Anyway, I see the Conqueror going across, and there's a shot into him. There's another shot into him as he goes down over the hill. And there's the Oods under there. Put a shot into him there, and now I'm on a reload. He took there. Type 61's down, so that leaves the Artie and Mad Dog and I. So 2 Tier 8 heavy mediums and an Artie. That's it. Falling back over here. I decided, you know, I wanted to get back over here with where these rocks were at. Really didn't want that Conqueror taking a shot at me. They got the 54E1 out there somewhere. And somebody's on base, and that's got to be the Tortoise. There's the E1. Nope, that's T-34. Put a shot at him, and he's down. I'm going to stay Artie safe, or as safe as much as I can. Artie hits the trailer, or the tractor. Kind of stunned here. Oh, the Oods takes a tracking shot on me, and I'm not sure where he's at. Over there, I fire a shot. That was the wrong place. He was over there. Yeah, kind of by where that dead T-34's at. Tortoise is moving in on Mad Dog. There's the accuracy. Able to get the Tortoise out of the way. Leaves the 54E1. He puts Mad Dog down. Put a shot into him, and he's able to take me out. Well, you know, we did end up losing. But, you know, 57,561 in credits, 1,114 in experience. I was able to get 3,227 in damage and got 3 kills on that one. So, you know, they were more at the end, and I was able to you know, take out the near deads, which this thing is pretty good at, you know, to be honest with you. It was a costly game because I'm firing a lot of gold and not getting a lot of return out of it. So, then, you know, some average experience. So let's move on to the third and final game. Okay, so for this game, we're back in Berlin. Only this time we've spawned over on the west side. So, and this turned out to be a really good game for me. It was probably my best game in the tank. and was the one that pushed me over the edge and said, okay, you can move on to the tier 9, which, you know, I'm really enjoying the tier 9. But so anyway, like I said, we spawned over on the west, and I'm headed into the city and kind of get an idea of playing this tank on the other side of the buildings. So I'm moving through here and thought, well, okay, I'll get up here and see if I can use this area, you know. Looking, I get spotted, not sure by what, but he already knows I'm there. Oh, little rat bastard. And he turns out to be a pain in my arse for a little bit in this game. I'm like, okay, I'm going to move over here. Now, I really don't know what spotted me, and it had to be that 274, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure how. You can see that nice little hole in my turret from where I got popped by that FV304. And just coming up here, hoping the KV3 kind of pushes through. It's a little slow start. I mean, surprisingly, they're not showing too much of showing too many of their hands, and we're not showing too much of ours. For those of you who don't know, this little window here, yeah, it opens up nicely to pop that little Caro P88. Well, I was a little concerned about the 274A. Here's the M44. I mean, Artie definitely knows where I'm at. And they're aiming for me. And this is a, what, tier 8, tier 7 game? Tier 8, tier 7, tier 6. So I'm top tier in this one. Which is probably why I had such a good game. EB2 over there. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to push over. And I just clipped that 274A. And I thought, whoa, I thought for sure the little Caro was going to push over. But I was able to get over here far enough where he can't push in. And I had the support to help me out. So, now these guys are all lit up. Artie's aware of them, and they're just going to get slowly chewed up over here because I'm here lighting them all up. AB3. There's another shot into him. Saving. I played this game with my reload fairly well, I think, and you know. Let that second shell load up. He knows I'm coming this time. Put a shot into him. Come back. Nope. No, I should have taken the shot. I should have, because I'm going to end up eating one because of it. Do take a shot from him. Hits me with his gold round. But I put him out of my misery. Now we got the Basante over there. And our BK3601 is pushing in. Can't get it, but I see the KB2 here, and I'm like, oh, dude, really? See if I can come back here. And he's trying to shove that KB3 out of the way. And I'm able to pop him twice. And Artie finishes him off, and the 274's down, and that leaves this Caro P88. And I'm on the big reload here. Alright, so he's down now. So that leaves the Basante. I want to make sure I get all 3 shells loaded up this time. Waiting for that 3rd shell to load up. Move in behind him. And I didn't wait for it, but I got the reload. And there he is. Now I'm just going to face hug him. And he hits me with an AP shell. I'm just going to just face hug him right here. And he turns his turret and allows me to pop him in the head right there. And he's done. Alright, so clean up on aisle 5. I figured I was being aggressive. I might as well keep being aggressive. And we're going to move in. Just going to shove the P88 out of my way. There's the BK3601. And move over here. He just bounces off me. There's that FV304 again, little bastard. I am running low on hit points. 390 left. shot and a bounce his shot. Another shot and get a track on him. And he's down. Somebody stole my kill. Probably a little super chaffy here. Alright, well, anyway, we'll keep moving. At this point, I notice I'm sitting at 4,200 in damage. I'm just going after damage now. It don't matter if I get kills. I am shooting for the top gun, high caliber, you know, something. I thought maybe I was on a roll to ace this thing. Anyway, there's the Pantera. And honestly, I thought there was a P-43. I don't know why, but I didn't realize there was a Pantera, and I really didn't want to face the 3-shot autoloader of him. So I come up here and I get real in tight on the base behind this wall. Tank's got a low enough profile, it was able to make that work. And I see those guys firing at me and I'm like, oh dude, I don't want to get hit by those guys. And I see him over there and I'm like, okay, come on, show yourself. And he does, and I kill him. That leaves one little SU-30 or SU-130. And let the Chiree roll in. There he is. Get an auto aim on him. Put a shot into him. He's moving out. And he's down. And that is a victory. Well, on that one, I got my first class, and I got Bruiser, Fire for Effect, and High Caliber. 106,898 in credits, 21,390 in experience. Obviously, tripped something, but, you know, it was a really good game. 4,566 in damage, 2 kills, base XP of 1426. Even made credits on that one, made some really good experience, and like I said, after I was able to add the extra experience you can get, that pushed me over the top and allowed me to get my tier 9. So we'll go back into the garage. I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so final thoughts on the Progetto 54. Well, you know, I think the stats, the numbers bear out that it is not. You know, it's not going to be a brawl in your face heavy like, you know, say the 252 or the BK101 or the 703 or the IS3. I think it leans to fall towards a heavy medium, and I think that's where it really can excel. Like I said, I really enjoyed playing this tank. It was a lot of fun. The games weren't that good, but a lot of those games I can just put up to you know, not having really good teams. You know, some of them were just steamrolls, to be honest with you. And I started playing this thing on a what was it, a Thursday night, or maybe it was the first night it came out, which would have been a Tuesday, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday, one of the two. But and I played it for every day till the Sunday. So I mean, within 5 days, I was through it with the 5 times and you know, the incentives and everything else, the crew bonuses and everything that you can get. So I mean, it was easy to grind through. And I really enjoyed the grind. I will probably keep playing this one, and if I do, it'll still be played as a medium. It is not a fast-moving tank. I'll try the turbo on it, see how that works. But again, I think if you play it as a medium and not a punchy face heavy, you're going to enjoy it. If that's not your style of play, then you're probably not going to think that this tank is all that great. As far as whether it's OP or not OP, it's not. It's definitely not OP. And I think it's maybe erred on the side of caution, to make it not OP, to be honest with you. I think the reload could be shortened up a little bit, and it could still be a very competitive tank and not reach the OP, marker there. It's an all-around decent heavy medium tank. Even though it's classed as a heavy tank, I think if you play it as a medium, you'll find that it works out very well for you. So that's it. Like I said, I'm on the tier 9 and I'm working through that, so look for that review coming up, and we'll catch you on the battlefield. This is Bonsai Duck out.